Hello there. If you had a tap that was leaking and causing a mess, water to flood in your sitting room, what would you do? Let me hear you. What would you do? Oh, you go and grab your mop and keep mopping, right? You will mop from now till eternity. If I were you, I'll fix the leaking tap and then grab my mop. That's the only way I'll be sure that my sitting room will become dry. You addressing that leaking tap is fixing your lifestyle. A healthy lifestyle change. Let me give you some healthy lifestyle tips that can transform your health. First on the list is your diet. Garbage in, garbage out. The body has the ability to heal itself if we give the body the right things. Yes, and research has shown that eating all plant-based meals most of the time will help us to do so. What do I mean by all plant-based meals? You need to ask yourself a question. Whatever it is that you want to put in your mouth, who made these things? God made it, man made it. If God made it, you should probably eat it. If man made it, you should probably put it aside. So let's give an example. That soft drink that you're always drinking, who made it? God made it or man made it? Water, or water, whatever way you want to call it. Who made it? God made it or man made it? I think God made it, so I'll pick water. So here's what we're saying. Reduce processed food to the barest minimum. In fact, avoid them at all costs. Now, look at my healthy plate. That is how your plate should look like with every meal. Can you see that picture? Now, divide your plate into 4. Half of that plate should be filled with varied vegetables. Shoko tete, ugu, water leaf, whatever vegetable you want to use. Half of your plate. The quarter should be complex carbohydrate, not over processed carbohydrates. And protein of your choice, preferably plant-based protein. And then water. Yes, water. Reduce oils in your meals to the barest minimum. Reduce your salt intake. And when we talk about salt intake, seasoning cubes, salt itself, or what have you, fall under this category, because really what you're bothered about is the sodium content of those things. So reduce them to the barest minimum. Learn how to spice up your meals with natural seasoning ingredients like turmeric, ginger, herbs and spices, other things flying all over the place now. You can use those things. Go and learn them. Just go and learn them. How to spice up your meals with those things. There's a lot to say about diet. Let's move on. Now, engaging in physical activity is very important. We were made to move. We're not made to sit down in one position. We're not made to stand in one position. We're made to move. So the more you engage your musculoskeletal system, the better for you. Okay? It helps in your metabolism, your insulin sensitivity, which is that thing that helps to take sugar from your blood for utilization by the cells. Okay? So the cells, the body, are able to respond to insulin better if you be body. So tell your neighbor, be body. All right. How much of physical activity or how much of exercise? The difference between physical activity and exercise is that one is planned, structured, purposeful, targeted, whilst the other physical activity is just an umbrella name for any activity you engage in. But if it's planned, structured, purposeful, targeted, then it becomes and exercise. For the purpose of this discussion, I'll just put everything under physical activity. You need a minimum of 30 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity, minimum 5 times a week. That's about 150 minutes per week. It's doable. And what do I mean by moderate intensity? Now, if you can perform that activity, you can talk, but you cannot sing. It is a moderate intensity physical activity. Let me take that again. I'm walking fast, briskly. Try and imagine, would you be able to sing whilst walking briskly? Probably not. But would you be able to talk? You should be able to talk. That's a moderate intensity physical activity. So brisk walking, 30 minutes, minimum of 5 times a week. Abba, we should be able to do that. But in addition to aerobic exercises, we also need to strengthen our muscles. They are called muscle strengthening exercises. And you need a minimum of that 2 times a week. Things like lifting weight, squats, push-ups, and all of that fall under this category. So at least if you can do those two, you're home and dry, you're good to go. And then you can add some jaras like flexibility exercises. Okay, so we've talked extensively about diet and exercise. We need to sleep. The third thing that I would like to talk about is restorative sleep. So what do I mean by restorative sleep? It talks about the quantity and the quality of our sleep. It's recommended that we have 7 to 9 hours of nighttime sleep. It's very important. Having more than 9 hours is going to be counterproductive, and you don't want it less than 7 hours. Yes. All right. Speaking of the quality of your sleep now, when you wake up in the morning, you should feel refreshed, rejuvenated, ready to kickstart your day. But if you wake up in the morning feeling as if you went to fight world war, then you've not had a quality sleep. Now, how do you ensure that you have quality sleep and the length is appropriate? Your mindset about sleep first has to change. Some people think that sleep is not important. Sleep is for lazy people. How can you sleep 1/3 of your life away? Billionaires don't sleep. If you are still with that category of people, you're sitting on a keg of gunpowder. I'm sorry to say. Right? If you want to have quality sleep, your mindset has to change. It just must change. You must first believe that sleep is important for you. So you not believing that sleep is important is a limiting belief, and you probably won't be able to have enough sleep that will refresh your body. Another thing is to ensure that you have a routine that you live by. Yes, our body works with routine. If you have problems sleeping, if you have problems initiating or maintaining sleep, then you have to set up your routine that you live by. You should have a sleep time. I'm going to sleep by 10 p.m. and 1 to 2 hours before your sleep time, you should practice what we call winding down. That means drawing down the curtains, the lights darker, you taking off your phone, gadgets that can introduce blue light to you. All those things must be put in place to get yourself ready for sleep. Your sleep environment is also very important. You do what you do in the room, only in the room. So it's not in your bedroom is for sleep, and what you do in the other room. I'm not going to mention what we do in the other room, but those are the only 2 things permitted in your bedroom. Okay, it's not in the room and you sit down on the bed that you're praying, reading your Bibles or studying. No, that should not happen in the room. Okay, your body can adjust itself and get to a state such that once you enter the room, the body senses it that we have entered a place where what we do is to sleep. and do what we do in the other room. So that is also very important. There are other strategies to managing sleep issues. If you have concerns about your sleep, send me a DM and I'll be glad to be of help to you. Another important pillar to help transform your life is avoiding harmful substances like alcohol and cigarette smoking. It's a no. Gone are the days when we used to say that a certain level of alcohol is appropriate. See, no level of alcohol is deemed appropriate according to recent studies. Okay, so please avoid both alcohol and cigarette smoking. But do you know there are other toxins that we're exposed to inadvertently? Plastics, fumes, herbicides, pesticides, and all of those things. Please identify toxins around you and avoid them as much as you can. Leads me to another pillar, talking about stress management. Stress is not always a bad thing. We all need some form of stress in our lives to propel us from where we are to the next level. Now, the problem about stress is if that stressor stays there for too long or the threshold of stress is too much, that's when there's a problem. And do you know that stress is relative? It's your mindset too, because stress is not uniform across board. What's a stressor to A may not be a stressor to B. So it depends on the resources available to them, their capacity, whether innate or learned capacity. So you see, stress is relative. How do you ensure that you manage stress? The first thing, you need to even identify the things that are stressing you. Be self-aware, self-evaluation, evaluate your environment, evaluate your life. What are these things giving you stress? Some people will say, I'm stressed. If you ask them, what are these things stressing you? They cannot pinpoint the things in their life stressing them. So recognize these things that are causing you stress and deal with them. Now, the second point after you have identified the stressors is to do what we call a cognitive appraisal. Think about the things that you perceive as stress and think about them. Sometimes you are not thinking properly about those things. That's why they are causing you stress. Such that if you really evaluate those things, take time to think properly about them, you will see that no, this thing is not really a stressor. It's the way that I thought about it that is even giving me stress. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Now you've identified the stressors. You may need to employ things like adjusting yourself, delegating. In fact, you may want to avoid some things, although it's not usually advised. Avoidance is not usually advised. You learn to say no, learn to delegate, build a strong support system, and it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality of your relationship. Take time out to relax, to enjoy the things that you love. Find meaning in the things that you do. Yeah, and one way to find meaning is to think beyond yourself. What can you do to add to other people or give back to your community? It helps relieving stress, makes you happy. And people who just think about themselves alone, at the end of the day, they aren't happy, they're stressed and worn out. They can't thrive, they can't flourish. So think beyond yourself. How can you help the people around you and add to your community? And enjoy life. Flex. Enjoy your hobbies. Do the things that you love to do. Finally, still on stress management, you need to engage in what we call mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness is paying attention to the things that you're doing. Savor the moment. Be present in your present. Things just roll by so fast and quickly that we cannot even pinpoint that this is what you have done. Okay, you ate what this morning? What did I hear you? Okay, tell me what you ate this morning. Did you savor the taste of that food? Can you tell me the ingredients, the texture of the food? You just gulped it down fast. So please practice mindfulness. In eating, you eat mindfully. You're relating with people, you relate with them mindfully. And you can even practice mindfulness. Go outside, take a walk, and look at the sky, the bright sky, and savor the air, savor nature. All those things have a way of calming our nerves and making us less stressed. Practice breathing exercises and also meditate. If you want further clarifications, you can send me a DM and I'll be glad to help you. Don't forget, build a strong support system around yourself. And how can you build a strong support system around yourself? If you're not a good person, you can't attract what you don't give. So be that good person so that you can attract good people around you. All right. I hope you've learned one or two things, but so that you will not forget the things that I've mentioned, I'm going to summarize the tips of a healthy lifestyle. They are called the pillars of a healthy lifestyle that can transform your health into the acronym called DREAMS, so that even in your dream, you will not forget dreams. Okay, D stands for your diet and nutrition. R stands for a restorative sleep. Don't forget that. A stands for avoiding harmful substances like alcohol, cigarette smoking. E stands for exercise. M stands for mental well-being and stress management. And S stands for social connectedness. See you next time. I'm Dr. Dami. Make sure you click like, share, subscribe for more thrilling videos. Bye.